Today we're going to explore the question, how can you model the percent of a number? Let's remember a couple of things before we get started. A percent is another type of a ratio that can be written as a fraction with a denominator of 100. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. So remember the example we looked at yesterday. The first example we saw was 37 over 100, and that gave us 37%. We could do another example and say 25 over 100 equals 25%. We could have another example and say 4 over 100 is equal to 4%. Now we could go on and on and on with these because any number over 100 is going to give you that percent. Let's break down even further about what this means in terms of fractional relationships. Given a fraction, we have a numerator and we have a denominator. Now, when we take a closer look at that fraction, we know that the numerator stands for the part, while the denominator stands for the whole. Now, given our percents, the whole would be 100, and the part is the actual percent. How does this all help us when we're trying to find the percent of a number? Let's look at the question, what is 20% of 80? We're going to use a double bar model to represent our thinking as we solve this question. Let's let our top bar represent our percentages. And so we'll say that the total here is 100%. Our bottom bar will represent 80 for our question, and to have 100% for our bottom bar, we need 100% of 80 represented. So the first thing I want to know is how many 20s can we fit into 100? How many pieces do we need to break our bar into? I know that 20 can go into 100 5 times. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So if we break our first bar into groups of 5, we need to do the same for our second bar. Now the real question is, what is 80 divided by 5? And we can do the math on that and know that 80 divided by 5 is 16. So each of our sections here is worth the value of 16. Now because our 100s bar was grouped in groups in 20%, we know that each corresponding section is also 20%. So to answer our final question here, what is 20% of 80? 20% of 80 is equal to 16. Here's a problem that you had to think about at the beginning of the lesson. 180 people went to the movies on opening night of the last big movie. 20% of the people received student discounts. How many people received student discounts? Let's see how using a double bar model can help us solve this problem. We'll have the top bar again represent our percent, and we'll have the bottom bar represent 180 of the total people who went to the movies on opening night. Now, if you remember from our previous problem that we can break our bar into fifths to represent 20%. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So we need to do the same here to the number 180. Break that into groups of 5. So what we need to know is 180 divided by 5 is equal to 36. So 20% of 180 is 36. You can easily see that represented here with a double bar model, which means 36 people received student discounts. Now you can see how to visualize the percent of a number using a bar model.